Hey everybody, Aaron from igtech365.com here to talk to you about some tips for your business to help address the risk of disasters like Hurricane Ian. And we are in Tampa Bay, so we are certainly facing the hurricane situation like many of our customers who generally are in this area. But these tips are good whether you're facing a snowstorm, a wildfire, or any other type of major event that you have time to see it coming. Some of this stuff you know that you should be doing on a regular basis anyway. Some of this other stuff is kind of stuff that you can do last minute to kind of make your life easier after an event. So first thing you need to do is check your backup processes and make sure that they're running. A lot of times customers set up these backup processes. They think they're running, and for some reason they fail. Computers are not perfect. Services are not perfect. Maybe your credit card expired. Who knows? Something as simple as that might mean that your backup processes are not running. And then also make sure that you have a current backup. You may want to do one manually at the last minute. So you're watching the weather radar and the storm is about to hit. You know it takes 30 minutes to do a backup. You hit backup and then boom, you've got the most current information before the power goes out, let's say. The next thing is to put your backup, make sure that it's going to a hardened data center that will survive any storm that comes. But also, if you have time, put it on an external hard drive. And the reason for doing that is when you go to do a restore, you have to download all that data from the data center. And that takes time. And if everybody's trying to do the same thing, everybody's jamming the internet with pictures and photos, if the internet's even up and running, if you've got power, then it's going to be slower than usual. So if you have it on an external hard drive, you can just connect it straight up to your server and boom, there you go. The next thing is to create an image for your servers, phone systems, and really any system that you have that will allow you to create a configuration file. So we all know that doing backups is you're backing up data, but you're not backing up the configuration of a server. And that can often be challenging. It can be time consuming. If you've got to order another server because the one that you have, got ruined or something like that, being able to install a configuration on it is going to save you a huge amount of time getting back up and running. Next is video document all of your IT equipment in your entire office. If you're going to have an insurance claim, you want a good visual record of everything. And sometimes you need to get nice close-ups, right? If you've got something of a particular value, then you want to get up nice and close, get the model number, the serial number, things like that. Make sure that you get those details in the video. And the nice part about it, it's cheap. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything to shoot a video on your phone, right? And then that information should be backing up to your phone cloud account, where it's going to be nice and safe. So it'll save you a lot of headaches down the road if you're trying to make a claim and you're getting into a dispute over what you had and the value of some of that stuff. A 3-minute video of your business, but also of your house, and I just did my house today as well. Went around, videotaped the entire house. I've got it on record. It's just a good way to avoid some headaches down the road. Next is some physical things that you can do that we have actually done. We were in an office that had a flat roof, and that flat roof, is concerning because water doesn't shed the way a sloped roof does. And if you happen to have a leak around an AC unit or something like that, and water gets through, and then it hits the ceiling tile, and it spreads, over a larger area as it runs around the ceiling tiles and things like that, and starts to drip down, then it can drip down on your office equipment. And by putting a trash bag on it, you would be able to protect most of your equipment from water dripping down. The other thing is if you get your electronics off the floor, then you avoid a lot of problems. We see a lot of servers that are stored on the floor themselves. They're not even put on a shelf or a table or whatever. They're just sitting on the floor. Some of them sitting outside the bathroom of all places, or in a kitchen, where you tend to have these types of floods during normal life. Never a good idea. Get them up off the ground. Make sure that they're protected in a closet. It's ideal so you can close the door and avoid accidents. And when you get those electronics up off the floor, then unplug them. If they're non-essential equipment, just simply unplug them. There's no point in leaving anything plugged in that you don't need. Get those power strips up off the floor and unplug all of that equipment and tuck it underneath the trash bag so your whole workstation is contained inside of a trash bag. The other thing that we did was we can close interior doors in case you get a window that is broken on the outside. So oftentimes offices have, or office buildings have offices on the outside, and if one of those windows gets broken from flying debris or something, and the interior door's open, what happens is the rain just blows right through and into the main workspace. So by closing all the interior doors, then you may be able to mitigate the amount of damage that spreads throughout your building. If you lose a window or you lose a door or something of that nature. The other thing that we've done also is we've had employees take their computers home, and this was really only feasible because we got onto Office 365 when that's what it was called. So you can plug that computer in. As long as you've got an internet connection, you can get connected and log into your account, and you can get back to work. Now, today it's called Microsoft 365, and we still use it extensively. This video is being done from my house because we use Microsoft 365. And if my house blew down tomorrow, I could go virtually anywhere in the world, log into any computer, sign into my Office account, and I could get back up and running with a phone system, access to all my files, communication with people internally, et cetera, et cetera. So if you are interested in Microsoft 365, give us a call. We're Microsoft partners, and maybe we can get you some discounts of some nature over the Microsoft pricing, for Microsoft 365 through IG Tech 365. Next is have a call tree to check in with people, and you'll probably do that through some social media type stuff, but a couple of quick phone calls. If you're in a medium-sized company, let's say you have 50, 150, 200 employees, those people need to get back to work. If you're in a business where you provide service that's going to be in demand post-hurricane, then you need to know who's available. So they can immediately get scheduled, right? You can get that information to your dispatchers who are going to be taking these calls, and people are going to be, excited about, getting someone to come out and fix my air conditioning, that type of thing. You can get them organized very quickly, which means you're going to grab market share, and you're going to generate additional revenue that your competitors may not be in a position to get because they weren't organized. The other piece of that equation, though, is if you have a group of employees that didn't do well in the hurricane or the disaster, then maybe you can put together a team that's going to go over and help them, and you can work on taking care of the people in your organization, help them get their lives back in order, get them back to work, kind of restore some normalcy for them. If you're in a business, let's say like an HVAC business, a plumbing business, electrical contractor, those are three that are going to be absolutely on fire post-disaster, like a hurricane, like we're looking at in Florida, where there's going to be tons of flooding, wind damage, all types of things going on, then you've got to have your fleet vehicles ready for you as soon as the disaster is over. Because, as soon as that eye wall passes, within a couple hours, you can actually be back to work. If the roads are open and you can get around, you're immediately going to start taking phone calls if there's any power left, right? So move your fleet vehicles to a place where they won't flood, where they won't get blown over, where they won't get destroyed by wind. You can send them home with your drivers. And if you think about it this way, if you have a fleet of vehicles and you park them all in one location and something happens to that location, i.e. it floods, your entire business is on hold, right? Until you can get replacement vehicles. And hopefully you've had flood insurance, because if you don't, you're probably out of business, right? So there is risk in having all of your vehicle assets in a single location. Allow the drivers to take them home, and if you lose a vehicle or two, then hey, that's not the end of the world. You can also certainly look and see what drivers are in the highest risk areas and send vehicles home with others, or park some of your vehicles at other people's homes and store them there. They only need to be there for 24 to 48 hours, and then the drivers can come over and get them and then go back to work. So protect your fleet. And the last thing is, if you're running a service business, electrical contractors are a great one, especially doing residential stuff. Think about putting extra inventory on the vehicles before the storm. So you know from running your business the types of things that you're going to run into. Maybe controllers, or I'm not an electrician, so I don't know, but breakers or whatever those things are that are going to be problematic during storms. stock your vehicles up so they don't have to worry about driving under hazardous conditions or wasting time coming back to the office every day to pick up, a $4 item that costs $15 just in fuel to drive there to get a $4 part and go back out. Stock them up with a little bit extra and turn people loose to do what they need to do. So those are the tips for businesses that are out there. If you've got more tips that aren't the super obvious ones, put them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And if IG Tech 365 can help you in any way, either pre or post disaster, contact us. We'd love to get you set up the way we are, because we're confident that the way that we're configured to run our business is also a good way to run other businesses. Thanks and good luck, and we'll see you on the other side.